Hi, I'm Mary and welcome to my channel. On this channel, I love to show you how to make simple, cute things with me. So today what we're going to do, well at first I thought we were going to do something like this, paint some pretty daffodils. And this is pretty cute. But then I got to thinking and I thought, well, how about if we painted daffodils in a blue vase like this? Look how cheerful these are. It reminds me of like going out to your garden and picking a bouquet of daffodils and plopping them in some fresh water in a little blue vase and then taking them over to your neighbor to cheer them up. So I hope that you'll stick along with me and come and paint these with me. So what you need for this project is pretty simple and straightforward. I'm starting out with a 5x7 sheet of watercolor paper. This is cold press. It's nothing fancy, but it will work perfectly for this project. I always have a ruler handy, an eraser and a pencil, and paper towel and rinse water. And today I'm using my Arteza set of 36 watercolors. You can use any watercolors that you have. They're all going to be just fine. And let's see, is there anything else that I'm missing? No, I think that's about it. Oh, well, you do need some brushes. So I just picked out some of my favorite ones. I'm going to use a number 10 round. This is Princeton Aqua Elite. I'm going to use a number 8, no, I'm sorry, this is number 6 round, Princeton Aqua Elite. And I'm going to use a number 3 round. And I'm not even sure that I'll use all of these. Sometimes I just start with one and just go with it on the whole project. And then I also thought this was a handy brush, although I'm sorry I can't tell you what brand it is. It's either worn off or wasn't on there, but it's like an angled brush. And we're going to do a vase in this project, so I thought it might be good for the edges of the vase. But again, you wouldn't have to have this. All right, so gather your supplies and let's get started. So what I'm envisioning is a pretty bouquet of daffodils that came in fresh from the garden, and we put them in some nice clean water in a beautiful little blue vase. So the first thing that we're going to do is draw a simple vase kind of like this. And you can draw any style that you like, but I'm kind of going for a short, round, scalloped edge vase. So that's what I'm going to do. So what I did to prepare my paper, I'll put this here if you'd like to see that. So what I did to prepare my paper is I put a few marks in, and I'm picturing that the vase is going to be somewhere down in here, a little bit below the halfway point of the whole project. So I put some halfway marks down here, and I do this for myself because honestly I'm not very good at drawing symmetrical things. It seems like I can get it really good on one side and then the other side is lopsided and doesn't match the first side. So this is just my little way of compensating. So these are halfway marks, so these are 2.5 across, and I'm doing them lightly. And then I did a few more that were just like an inch from the side. These are an inch from the side. And then I put a couple more that are closer in, and that would be for this narrow part here. But there's nothing scientific about this, and so let's just give it a go. So first of all, I'm going to draw an oval here, and I'm going to just sketch it lightly. Oh, that's not too bad. Got an oval there. Okay, and then I'm going to draw straight down on each side, like that. This is where the vase is going to curve out. And then I'm going to draw a curve and a curve. Okay, now you see that one is, it's a lot fatter than the one on the other side. So that's why we have an eraser. And so let's just give that a try again. Maybe not so chunky. Let's see. Well, it's looking better. I think I need to even up this a little bit. So you might have to just practice a little bit on just some scrap paper or whatever you have handy. And then, actually, I think I want to make this just a little bit taller than it is. I should probably just leave well enough alone, but I think I'm going to go for just a little taller, bring those sides down a little bit more there, and then kind of like that. And have to go back and make it match. So I think that's pretty good for starters. And then, like I said, I'm going to do a scalloped edge right around the top. I don't know, do you remember having little vases that have scalloped edges at the top? I kind of remember my mom having something like that, where it's fluted, scalloped, whatever you want to call it, something like that. Just adds a little personality to the vase. All right, so now we have our vase drawn. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and paint this vase. I erased most of my marks so that you couldn't see them, and then I erased my outline just enough so that I can still see it, but not so much that it's real prominent. So I got that done. And then the next thing is to come up with what color you want your vase to be. And I'm going to use blue, and I'm using these Arteza paints, and what I did is I mixed some turquoise blue with some cerulean blue. So that's turquoise, and then the cerulean, which is more of a blue. And I'm going to make a pretty light wash out of it, meaning pretty watery, because my first go at painting this, I just want a light wash. So I'm using my number 10 brush, and we're going to put down a light wash like so. You just want to have a hint of that blue in there. You can turn your paper as you need to. And I didn't tape my paper down. I guess I might regret that, but sometimes I find it so confining when I do that. Okay. So we have the inside, the lower part of the vase painted. Can you see that okay? I guess it's important not to use too much water, or it does take a long time to dry. Now I'm going to go ahead and paint the top part here, following my scallop outline, just like that. And now I am going to dry mine. I'm going to use my heat gun that I have. You could use a hair dryer, or you could just take a break and come back and let yours dry on its own. So I'll be right back after this dries. Now that this is all dry, we can start sketching in our daffodils to go into the vase. So we're going to start with the daffodil flowers, and on this painting that I did as practice for this video, I did kind of three different angles for the daffodils. So you could do the same, or you could draw them all similar if you like. But I think it makes the painting very interesting and more expressive if you can see the daffodils from different angles. So I'm going to just envision like one here, one here, one here, and then maybe we'll add in some buds. So first of all, I'm going to just do this one that's straightforward, and this is probably the easiest one. So it's just a matter, and I'm going to keep my daffodils pretty low to the base. So we're going to start out with just a circle like this, and then we're going to add 6 petals. And the petals are kind of wide where they meet the circle, the inner part, and they're more pointed as they go out. So kind of like that. And we're going to draw 6 of them. And don't worry if yours look a little bit wonky. It's going to be okay. You just want the idea that it's a daffodil. Okay, that's not too bad. So I'm going to get rid of some of these other extraneous lines. So now we have our first daffodil. And then I'm going to draw this daffodil. I'm going to put it up here. So it starts out with like, how do you want to say, kind of like a tube that's fluted on one end. So we'll do like this and like that with a little oval. And then you can't see all of the petals because a couple of them are behind this. So we're going to just draw 4 petals. One, 2, 3, and this 4th one is going to come behind this other. So you just sort of pretend where you would draw, and then sort of like this. So that's our second daffodil, and then our third one is pointed this way. So it's really the same thing as this, it's just turned in a different direction. So we'll do that one in this area right here. We'll draw like that. And then we're going to do 4 petals on this one too. Oh, that's why we draw in pencil. Something like that. And then this one. And I think I'm going to make my little, the center part be just a little bit at an angle. Kind of like that. Okay, and then we'll have stems. We can just sort of pencil those in a little bit. And they'll come down in the water, and we'll take care of that when we're, oh, I don't like that one there. We'll put one here, like so. So you should have something similar to this. And now I'm going to erase some of my marks, not all the way, but that's a lot of pencil marks. I'm going to fade them up, and then we'll be ready for our painting. I don't want to erase too much or I won't be able to see what I'm doing. So something like that. Okay, so for the daffodil, we're going to do a combination of orange and yellow. We're going to do orange for this middle part right here, and we're going to do yellow for the leaves. So I am going to pick an orange that's not, I'm going to pick an orange that is not super deep orange. This is probably, let's see if I look on my chart, this is, well, this one is actually called golden yellow. I would call it more of an orange, but that's what this says. So I'm hoping you can see this in the camera. Okay, like that. And then I might add a little bit of yellow to it as well. There we go. So now, I need to erase a little bit more. So now let's paint the middle circles. And I can see now that I might have wanted it a tad bit more orange, but we'll get started. We can always add more orange. Something like that. And like that. And I could be using my smaller brush, but I didn't. So it's very easy if you go outside the lines, and it doesn't matter if you do, but you can just take a paper towel and pick it right back up. So I'm going to get a little bit more orange this time. And I'm going to switch to my smaller brush. Have to keep reminding myself what to do here. There we go. And I'm just going to go back and add in a little bit more orange and a little bit more orange, like that. Okay, now we'll let this dry, and then we're going to paint the petals. So I'm going to use my cadmium light yellow in my Arteza set. I like a nice bright yellow for daffodils. How about you? I always think daffodils are so cheerful in the spring. All right, so now we're going to just give our petals some nice sunny yellow. This is kind of like coloring in a coloring book, a little bit. Wow, I really erased that one petal a lot, but I'm sure I could figure out where it was. So it was right in here, like so. Oh my, this is looking very nice. All right, so now get a little more yellow. Now we're going to do this top one. Well, actually, we'll do this one first. I decided that way because this one and this one will run into each other. So there we go. And there. All right, now we just have one more to do. I'll start over here and give that other one a little more time to dry. I hope you've been well. I've been trying to get over a cold. I went on a trip, and the day I got home, I started not feeling well, but I am doing much better now. I'm just not 100% over it. So I hope you have been well in your family. Okay, so now we're going to add in some leaves, and we're going to finish the vase. I'm going to first of all let this dry. Now we're going to go back to our vase and add some more color to it and a little bit more detail. So I'm going to use again the turquoise and the cerulean blue, which really you could use any shade of blue that you like. I like to add the cerulean because I don't like it to be too turquoisey, even though I love that color, but I'm trying to make it a little less turquoise. Okay, so we're going to kind of think that light is coming in from this side right here. So we're going to make this side of our vase be the darker side. So we're going to add some more color to it. I was trying to use my angled brush here. And I'm doing the little flute and letting it get lighter as we go over, and that's just because I was running out of paint. And I'm going to just use a little water here to get this spread out. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that. Kind of went outside. All Okay. I think we'll probably be going over this a couple times to get the color where we want it. So we're going to just, I guess the nice part about this brush is with the scallops, it makes it easy. And notice I'm kind of going with the shape of the vase, the roundness, instead of straight up and down. And I'm going to do a more watery, let's see, more watery color over here. Because again, this is where the light is coming from. There, that looks good. And then I am going to paint the back side of the vase. But I'm going to be sort of careful with this so that I don't touch the front side right now. So I put a little glue down on the scallop and then I'm just bringing it down, but I'm intentionally not bringing it down all the way. Later on we can just add a little more water and bring those two together. All right, so we've got that done. And then I wanted to add at least a couple of buds like this, little daffodil buds. So I'm going to just draw in something like that, and it's just a stem with a little bulb shape like that. And then we'll do maybe one up here. Maybe that one will be a little bit bigger. And maybe this will be another one coming off over here, like that. Okay, so I'm going to paint them just a combination of, well, first of all, I'm going to erase them a tiny bit. And I think that I can keep working on this while the vase is drying if I'm just careful not to get in the way of the vase. Okay, so I'm going to paint those green. I'm getting a little, this is like a sap green, kind of a greenish yellow color, which I love, but I don't think it's bright enough for this project. So then I'm going to add some, let's see, what shade of green is that? It's called spring green. This one is spring green. It's more of a typical bright green. So there we got kind of a mix. So I'm going to go ahead and paint in the bulbs. The buds, I should say, not the bulbs, but the buds. Like that. Like that. And then one more down here. And I like how the green brings a nice cohesiveness to it. And since there's daffodil flowers inside of these, I'm going to also dip into my yellow and just put a splotch of yellow in there, as if it's hinting at the daffodil being in there, the new daffodil flower, like that. All right, so now I'm also going to go back and add some more. This is going to be a darker orange, and on my paint stick, or my paint sample here, this looks like it's called chrome orange, but it's more like a light orange red. I'm going to go ahead and put that on the top of the, I guess they call it the daffodil cup or the daffodil trumpet, this part right here, and give that some depth, because you know that there's stamen inside there. And we'll do the same with this. We'll just do a light like that. And then on this, I'm going to just put a little bit of that brighter orange out on the edges like that. That brings it all together. Okay, now I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll go back and add a little more blue to the vase, and we'll do our stems, and we'll be all done. Here's where we are right now. I love how this is coming together. It's really a happy little daffodil bouquet, don't you think? So the next thing is we want to paint in our stems, and then we're going to add a little bit more detail around the petals and a little bit more on the vase, and then we'll be done. So I am going to just mix up some of this sap green, and I like to do a little bit darker green. I might even bring in some of this. This is called like a jade green. It's got blue in it, to make the stems stand out a little bit. So when you do your stems, you might want to practice first. If you're not feeling comfortable with making a thin line, you might want to practice first. And just what I like to do is make my brush go away from me and touch very lightly, and then I get a nice fine stem. If I bring it toward me, then sometimes my brush goes flat like that. You just have to work out for yourself what works well for you. So I'm going to first start with this stem, and it helps to blot first before you get going. I'm going to just do this stem lightly. I'm going to go back and get a little bit more paint. All right. And actually that would come into the vase. And then I'm just really mixing up different shades of green. There's no right or wrong on this. And then I'm going to do this one that goes to this bud. So, ooh, that got a little thick, but that's okay. And up like so. And we'll do this one like so. This one, which I guess we can get, oh, and I missed one back here. Let me go back here and get this one like that. And then we have one more, and it's this bud right here. I'm going to try to leave well enough alone. And I think it would be kind of nice to add some little like leaves on these buds. I didn't do it here, but I'm going to give it a try here, just a little, so you get the idea that it's like that. And honestly, I don't know if a daffodil actually has those. So I'm sort of making up this part, but I think it looks cute having the bud be cradled in a leaf like that. And there, and then we've got one more. Like that. Hey, this is looking great. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the vase and even make it a little bit more, get a little bit more blue going. So I'm going to be pretty bold here, and I'm going to use my cerulean blue and go over this side of it. just like so. I'm going to use my water to just bring it over to blend it out. You see how it's darker over here? So I'm just bringing water to blend it out. And I'm leaving this side light. And actually, I think I'm going to try, I'm going to get a little more water here. I'm going to try to add a little reflection in there by taking my paper towel and just blotting up a little bit of that paint. There we go. Well, it kind of did work. So I just blotted up a little bit of that. You see right here, there's a reflection. And then I like to give the bottom of the vase some nice color because it's like the anchor. So we'll just put some nice color at the bottom, like it's, usually the glass is thicker on the bottom of a vase. So we'll do like that. And maybe we'll do just, because the glass is thicker, I think I'm going to just carry it around just on the very edge there. Like that. And then I'll just use just some water to spread it out so it's not so, you don't want it to look so perfectly structured. There. Oh, and then I'm going to go back, like I said, and we're going to bring this blue down now. I'm going to try not to disturb the stems. I'm just adding some water in there to get the blue to spread. There we go. And then the very last thing we could do is we could add a little more detail to the flowers, but I actually like them just the way that they are. But I'm going to add just a little bit of a shadow down here. So what I'm going to use is some, oh, that's black. I'm not going to use black. I'm going to use like some indigo. Let's see. I think it might be this right here. And a little bit of maybe blue in it. Just a little. You don't want it to be bright or anything. So we're going to just put, if the light's coming in this way, the shadow would be over here. So we're going to do just something like this. Just sort of like that. And I'm going to go back and add just a little bit more color at the bottom here. Oops. Sometimes the best laid plans. And if you feel it like it's too dark, then you can always blot it up with a paper towel, which is probably what I'm going to do. So there. I'll just blot that up a little bit. It just gives it a little bit of an anchor. So there we go. If you wanted to, you could take your black pen or marker and draw some little lines that come out from the daffodil. Like on this one, I outlined my leaves, and I outlined my pencils with a dotted line, and also I did that with the leaves. But sometimes just simple is perfect. So I hope you really enjoyed painting these daffodils, and I hope that it brought some sunshine to your day, and I thank you so much for watching. And if you think I earned it, I would love for you to give my video a like and to subscribe to my channel. And I will see you next time. Thank you so very much for watching.